everybody. It is another episode of What Would Denyque Do? I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in every single time. This episode is actually very special to me because it's about astrology. And you know, I am a big believer in the zodiacs, but there's so much more to it. And so I had to get a professional to have a conversation with. This is Alina Apostol.
Hi, Denyque.
Hi, Alina. Welcome. And Alina is an astrologist and a psychotherapist. I met her years ago. I actually met her when I got pregnant with my son, who was actually born on 8/8/18. Yeah, so I know he's gonna be some kind of force to be reckoned with, besides the fact that he's my kid. But Alina, what's up? Welcome. It's so good to have you.
Good to be here.
I know.
We met under a full moon.
I know.
So
I
I
know.
think this is gonna be very interesting.
I think so too. So, okay, so for people that don't really understand, what is astrology?
Astrology is a tool. It has been used as a calendar tool thousands of years ago. It was called a science. It was called an art.
Right.
So astrology, I would say, is an instrument.
Okay.
Yes. I know since COVID, astrology has taken a big place due to Instagram and social media.
We were
TikTok.
talking about that, yeah.
And at the end of the day, astrology is just a tool like everything else, like tarot, like psychotherapy, like meditation, like yoga. It is a tool to know yourself better, to know other people better, and to, I guess, improve your life and make the best of what you can.
What's the difference? What would you say the difference is between what you do versus a psychic reading?
I don't know if we can compare them.
Okay.
In order to do astrology, you need to learn an alphabet. You need to learn symbols and what they mean, and you need to learn a bit of geometry. And
oh, wow.
Yes. So everything in the sky does mathematically a relationship to your natal chart or my natal chart.
Right.
So those relationships or those imagine lines on a blank wall, lines between symbols. That's very much reading or translating symbols and their relationship. While I think a psychic, I'm not sure exactly. I'm not one, so I can't really speak for them. But I think they have a sense, or they have an intuition, or they see things, or they hear things.
Right.
While an astrologer should not hear or see things, should actually study very well and practice years, because what I have seen and what I have observed with many people in the last years, they call themselves astrologers, but they are not really talking about the depth of astrology. They are more recycling words that have been used before.
Yeah, like now, like you said, astrology has taken over social media in a big way. Social media, everybody is looking into it. Now everybody wants to know, what's your moon sign? What's your ascending? You said something earlier that I want to dive into some more, because I know people are not gonna really understand what a natal chart is. So can you break that down for me?
Yes, so when we speak about astrology, we speak about a chart, which is a map of the sky at the moment when something is born, whether it's a person like your son, a business. This event has a chart because we can map it out based on what's happening in the sky. That is astrology. The logos, the interpretation of the sky, of the stars. What we see on Instagram and TikTok is more a playful and quite inspiring way of dealing with the signs. So what is a sign? Like, we know that, can I say you're a Pisces? Yeah. So that means that at the moment when you're born, the sun in the sky was in the sign or the constellation of Pisces. And that's why we call you a Pisces. So the zodiac has to do with the sun signs. And most of the things we see on Instagram have to do with the sun sign. Now, what happened is, because of, we're all isolated, and I think we all needed a little bit more of something to do.
True.
That expanded into moon sign and Mercury retrograde, and people started talking about it. And so there is an openness to going into the natal astrology or into the any other type of astrology, because there are so many ways of applying astrology to life, whether it's financial, whether it's natal, personality, transits, meaning what's going on in the future. There are lots of things that you can do with astrology.
Okay, and I know a lot of people, because Mercury retrograde is always seen to be something bad, or it causes bad things happen. So people will be like, Mercury's in Gatorade or whatever. Before, you've always said that the signs are just one part of astrology. So it deals with the planets too. Tell me more about that.
The planets are the actors. So the person, the energy that actually.
So astrology is the movie.
Astrology is like a movie, a movie theater or a movie stage.
Okay.
The setting. Who is acting is the planet. Okay. The actor is the planet. How is the sign.
Okay.
And where is the houses. So.
Oh, the houses.
The houses are basically a place or a space that could describe very carefully and quite accurately what's happening in your life. Or how, like for example, your sun is on your ascendant. You are always, again, ascendant is another term.
Yeah.
But your sun, Denyques' sun in Pisces, is positioned, situated in the first house, which is called the house or the place of I.
Okay.
For you in this life, it's going to be very important to create Denyques and to shine Denyques. So the fact that you are doing what you're doing and you are working towards creating a personal brand, an authentic brand. That's very much in line with your chart.
Oh, no, that's right.
If your sun in Pisces would have been situated in the, let's say, the 8th house, maybe you would have ended up working as a banker and dealing with other people's money. Because
I like that.
8th house
I like to spend other people's money.
With other people's money. So based on the zodiac wheel or the natal chart, and I have my phone with me because maybe I do need to look into your chart or
no
something
problem.
else.
We can read my chart. I don't mind. Don't read too much though. But I read too much. But don't want people to know live too much.
But to go back to it, so we have who? That is the planet.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we read on Instagram about what's my sign today or what should I do based on the sign, that's one of the many things that you have in your natal chart. So it doesn't really say much. The sun is who I know myself to be. It's how I shine in the world. It's my life purpose.
So I shine like a Pisces.
You shine like a Pisces.
Got you.
Yes, but your moon sign is in Virgo. So the way you feel, the way your habits, the way you eat, the way you deal with your body, that's a Virgo state. That's something very different than the Pisces sign.
And then Pisces is a water sign. Virgo is an earth sign.
Yes.
So that would mean that I'm grounded. Yes, no?
Yes, very much so. It means that your moon, your feelings, your emotions help you ground everything else. Because as a Pisces, you tend to go somewhere else.
Wow.
Yeah.
The drag.
But you see how it gets complicated because we not only have the planet, where the planet is situated, how the planet is acting, the sign, we also have elements. You just spoke about water and earth.
Right.
And that is another descriptor of how we are or who we are.
Okay.
Or what is happening at this moment in time. So
100%.
Astrology is...
It gets technical.
It's technical, it's deep, it's profound, it's so many things.
So I want to simplify it a little bit. So you can tell me how my day will go tomorrow just by looking at my chart.
I can tell you that, yeah. Any astrologer, any person who studies the symbols and works, I would say for a few years.
Alina? All right, so before we get back to that, because I really want to know how my day is going to go tomorrow, but before we get back to that, I know this is what you do for a living. You're an astrologist, you're a psychotherapist, so you have your clients. Have you ever had to give a client bad news?
Many times.
Wow.
If we talk about tomorrow, let's say tomorrow.
Let's talk about tomorrow.
And you have tomorrow. Let's say I see that Mars, the planet of conflict, Mars is conjunct your moon. I'm going to tell you, be very careful because your emotions are going to be hyper. You're going to feel, it depends on the sign, but probably I will say you may feel more prone to conflict. You may attract more conflict or you may have a short fuse. So be careful how you drive. Be careful if you
conjunct means beside?
Sorry, conjunct means one on top of each other.
One on top of each other. Yes. Okay, got it.
Like they're
so Mars is on top of the
moon, let's say. Yes.
Okay.
The moon absorbs. So the moon as a body in the sky has no light of its own. So it always absorbs the light of the sun, if it's a full moon, or the energy of a planet. Mm-hmm. It's receptive. Mm-hmm. Mars is very, imagine Mars as a very strong,
a big tick man.
Man or woman, it can be like an Amazon woman or like a strong, person or personality.
Superman or Wonder Woman.
Yes, and Mars is the planet of conflict.
Right.
Whether that is for a good cause or a negative.
Or a negative cause. Okay.
It's still going to make things fire up, intense. If we are conscious that tomorrow you may have. There might be the possibility of you having a sort of disagreement with someone, and you have an important meeting. Maybe you want to reschedule. Maybe you want to, do other things. Right. Or if you go to the gym and you are an athlete, maybe you have to carefully watch how you train.
True. Okay.
So in this way, you can say to someone, "This is going to happen in your life." And yes, I had to deliver this kind of description, and I do have. There are many people out here in Jamaica. I've been here for 9 years already. So
wow, you live here?
I live here.
You're Jamaican.
It's my home. But I did have people telling me that one of the reasons they don't consult me more often is because they do not want to hear bad news.
Yeah. You know what? I find that people don't like to hear bad news, no matter how true it is, no matter how realistic it is. We prefer to kind of live in denial as human beings.
I don't know if denial is the word that I would use. I think social media. What social media did, it made us very easily distracted, and I think it made our span of attention very, very short, and that has a consequence in how we live and how much we want to go in depth into how we live and what we feel.
When you talk about like if you say to somebody, if I say to you, I want to marry an Aquarius, but I'm a Pisces, can you tell me if that would be a good move or a bad move, like just based on my chart?
Yes, I could tell you. The answer is yes, a simple answer. Anyone could. I would not do that because, again, we complicate things. Remember, you have a natal chart, and your partner has a natal chart. It's not just the sun in Aquarius with the sun in Pisces.
Right.
It's everything else. Anyone consulting an astrologer to understand their relationship does that. They need the time, the birth chart of both partners.
So you absolutely have to have the time of birth?
If you are a good astrologer, you don't necessarily have to have it. But if you are not experienced, I would rather say don't do that kind of work without the time of birth, because you can easily, as an astrologer, without the time of birth can be wrong.
So you can tell people don't date Cancers?
I would never say that. No.
I'm joking. Yeah, you look so stressed out.
I take you. No,
you look so stressed out. They're not going to come for you, I promise.
The thing is, there's so much said. And put under the umbrella of astrology.
True, very true.
I am extremely serious. Like, I could be so not serious about many things, but when it comes to this, yes, I'm very serious.
I know, and I see that, and I respect that. So, I mean, sometimes I'll just lighten it a little bit, but what sign are you?
I'm a Libra.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me that, didn't you? Yeah, you're an air sign. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so, because I want to make it, I love astrology. Now, I don't love it enough.
What do you love about it?
I love what it says. Like, I love the fact that there's something else out there. You know, I know God made all of us. For me, I have that belief. I'm Christian. I believe in God. And I know that God, made all of us and everything. But to also know that He made planets and then He made signs. Like, who came up with the names for these signs? And I feel like because I relate so much to my chart, like, there are days when I don't feel like a Pisces. There are days when I actually feel like a Virgo, like I don't feel like a water sign. There are days when I just feel like an earth sign. And then I have air in my chart. So there are days also where I relate more to the Aquarius side than the Pisces side, because I'm born on the cusp.
Your sun is 2 degrees in Pisces. That means you are a Pisces. So the sun was not in the Aquarius constellation.
Okay, so the cusp thing is no, but it's not real.
No, it's not real
Okay. Do you hear that, people?
It's not real. If you are like born on 0 degrees in a sign,
right,
you're like at the inception of the sign. So let's say you are like a baby, like even you with 2 degrees in Pisces, you're like a baby Pisces, learning about the sign compared to someone born at the end of the Pisces, which has been, let's say from a soul perspective, gone through that. But what you are referring to is the fact that your Mercury is in Aquarius, so the planet, how you communicate, and then your Venus, the planet of love. So yes, when you go back to your friend saying that his sun is in Aquarius, your Venus is in Aquarius. Now Venus is the planet of love and attraction. You are going to be attracted to an Aquarian energy. So whether the person has the sun or the moon or Venus or Mars in Aquarius, energetically you're going to be pulled towards each other. When we do relationship astrology, Venus has to be involved.
Okay.
Like we can look.
Venus is the planet of love, yes.
Yes, and what you are attracted to.
So, okay, I'm going to challenge you a little bit. Based on my sun in Pisces, moon in Virgo, ascendant in Aquarius, what do you think, based on my chart, would be the best sign for me to date?
I can't say what would be the best sign. I don't want to say that.
I want you to say it.
It's against what I believe. I think astrology is a tool and an instrument to understand things after they happen or while they happen.
So not before.
And this is what I hope I send as a message to my clients and the people who work with me. I do not think astrology should be used as a thing for the future. I know this sounds weird.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense because hindsight is 20/20. Because even a lot of things that they happen to me, I don't really see them in their fullness until after something happens, and I'm like, oh, this is why that happened. Now everything makes sense. Yeah, so that makes sense that you're saying about astrology.
But many people are using astrology opposite way.
To predict the future.
To predict and also predict what should be good for you. We could speak about that, but in general terms, like, yes, a relationship with an Aquarius would do good for you, but we can't say, choose that person or that person because I wouldn't say that.
Right.
And where does life come in if we say, like, how much control can one have or how much control can one think they can have? Where is life? Where is fate? Where is destiny? Where like, astrology cannot be seen as an all-encompassing thing. Yeah. That's where we go wrong.
Okay.
And that's where astrology is used in a negative way because we don't take any responsibility and accountability for what's...
There goes my word. It's my favorite word, accountability. Oh my gosh, that's my favorite word. Okay, so people do not go to Alina if they don't want to know who for they with.
And they don't.
Oh, they do.
I mean, it's true. I mean, whoever share some space and time with me, they will know that I'm no bullshit. Like and
I love that though.
There are people who try to come to me and have sessions with me or work together with me as a professional in different settings, workshops and we don't work together well if we don't align.
If you don't align.
And many times the people who do not continue to work with me are the people who don't want to hear the depth and the fact that this is the main message that I want to speak about in terms of astrology. Any sign out there or any natal chart is how should I say, is a multitude of symbols.
Yes.
If that is good or bad, negative or positive, whether it's about the future, about the person, about the relationship, it depends on the consciousness of the person. It depends on everything else, conditioning, complexes, your childhood, what you do. And that's where the psychotherapy comes into my work. I would never consult an astrologer as a client, an astrologer who doesn't have a sort of therapeutic background, because astrology has to be used in a conscious way.
Okay.
I can tell you have a great time this year because, let's say, I know you have a Uranus transit, so you're going through a lot of changes. But that change can mean basically you destroying everything in your life if your consciousness is not at a place where you can, You know what? Deal with what's happening in your life.
And that begets my next question, which is, so all of this is happening, so even if you're not conscious of it, if you're not paying attention, does that stop it from happening?
It doesn't, no.
Okay.
And the consequences, the things that are happening depend or how we understand them happening depend a lot on who we are.
Mm-hmm. So break down like a Uranus transit for me. Like, does that mean like, what does that mean?
Uranus is a planet of change, and
Uranus is a planet of change.
It brings a radical, unconventional approach to the planet that it touches. So in your case,
it has a transit of planet. Got you.
Okay, so Uranus in the sky.
Uranus in the sky.
Yeah, so the planet in the sky, the real planet in the sky.
Yeah, for sure.
Is affecting your natal chart, and in it is affecting the planet Mars, which we spoke about.
And my Mars is in Taurus.
Your Mars is in Taurus.
Yes.
So your Mars, what Mars represents in a chart is the way you get what you want.
Oh, okay. Strong, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Action, basically.
Action, got you. Okay,
yes?
So Uranus is affecting action.
And how is affecting action? By bringing a very radical, unconventional approach to how you already make things happen.
Okay.
So this year for you, what I would predict as an astrologer would be, please be very open to changing the way you assert yourself and bring out a way of getting what you want in a very different way than you did in the past.
You're correct. You were right.
But I didn't say too much, did I?
No, you didn't.
I didn't say much.
But the difference is I'm actually doing the work, so I'm conscious and I'm choosing growth every single time. But to somebody that's not doing that work, that's just like, oh, that's probably mumbo jumbo. But what if there's also that other person who wants to do the work, who wants to listen to you and say, okay, but they take you so literally. Like, what do you tell somebody like that?
And exactly. So that's why this work is a bit
technical. It gets technical, doesn't it?
it's sensitive, and an astrologer has to be sensible to know who they are talking with, and that's why I stay very much away from being too much on social media or saying too many things, because I've done it in the past and I've seen that it's misinterpreted. Wow. Uranus is a relentless need for change, and the change is happening within you. It doesn't come from outside. So this year, going back to what's happening, you need to find in yourself those ways,
the elements, those things that come together
to make things happen. And it would be very easy to understand how, if you look back, how did I make things happen until now? Like, if I look at the last 10 years of my life.
Right, there's a lot of would that be in retrospection?
Yeah, you just look, who was I at 25? What did I do? Not because I say so, but the transits and what's happening around you, the people you meet, the circumstances you're going to be engaged with, all of this is going to bring the energy of new or different or unconventional.
Okay, I got you. I fucks with that.
And in the same time, if you think, Denyque, when you go back on searching into the astrology that is now over there, through podcasts and other things, when people talk about these, when astrologers talk about these things, you actually have to root everything into your natal chart. So without you knowing or anyone knowing their natal chart, they may not be able to know too much about what is happening or who they are.
Honestly, I feel like when you know too much, it can be dangerous. Like it can be a little detrimental. I don't know. Do you feel the same way about knowing too much?
I think it's a continuous work with yourself. And being an astrologer is an interesting way of living because you already know what transits and what movements are going on through your life. So it's always a matter of deciding what to do and how to do it.
I want to do that. Okay, so in order to get your birth chart, because how I've tried to read my birth chart for so many times, and we had this conversation just lightly. I've tried to read my birth chart so many times. I called my mom to get her to give me my time of birth. She did so reluctantly, just because she couldn't remember the exact time. But a lot of people out there are hearing more about astrology via social media. And I know that that's what you do for a living, but do you tie it in with anything else? So do you tie your readings, because it's still called a reading, right?
A reading, a consultation, a session, whatever you want to call it.
A session, reading, a consultation. How do you tie that into, because I feel like it's, as much as it's in the sky and it's within the universe, I think it's still very rooted in reality. And I feel like that's what you bring. It's like you keep it very grounded.
It's very rooted in reality. Mm-hmm. And yes, it depends on how you translate it and, you know, the personality of the astrologer. I don't know how to say this, or I don't have the language yet for it. I've been doing it for more than a decade. I don't know how come that it is so real. Like, I don't know how is it possible, that makes it so real.
Got you.
So
you can like literally tell me, do not have sex with a Gemini.
What I can tell you is that when Mars is going to be on your sun or your moon or your Venus, you might have more sex, or be careful who you have sex with.
No, that's right.
I wouldn't tell you don't have sex with a sign, but I would tell you that, you know, or those are good days for conception, or those are good days, you know, for...
Very good point. I see. Okay. All right. This is making sense. But you can't tell people when they're gonna die, how they're gonna die, because you know these are the basic questions that people always want to know, which baffles me every time.
I don't get that question.
Oh, you don't get that?
I never had a session. People want to know about love. Women want to know about love, and when it's going to get better.
So what is wrong with y'all? Can you stop? Can't make them money. I feel like
men want to know about money. So most of my clients.
It's okay. They can want to know about money, so they can come spend it on us. I like that. I like that. I live for that.
I haven't had a client asking me when am I going to die or how am I going to die. Okay. There are astrologers who do this. Yeah. You can describe the circumstances you see in the chart. Like you can see that, let's say you're gonna have a transit in the house of endings, which is the 4th house, a Pluto transit, and your sun is there. So yes, I may be able to say be careful because during this time Pluto is going to conjunct your sun or oppose your sun. It is in the 4th house of endings.
And remember guys, conjunct means on top of. So Pluto is going to be on top of the sun.
Or opposite.
Or opposite the sun.
So
that's
that could signify.
Don't go out, stay home.
That could signify that something can happen. Now the sun is your life force, but it can also represent your a significant male energy in your life, like a father. Okay. So astrology can very easily predict times of struggle, like times of great opportunities and resources.
Okay, I love that. I love that. Where can people find you? I know you're on Instagram, but you don't really do Instagram.
I don't post anymore for about a year. I used to do it every day.
Yeah.
Well, people can still find me on Instagram.
Do you do online sessions too?
I do only online sessions.
Only online sessions. Okay, well, there you go. Because people ask me all the time, like, how are you so happy? How are you always this way? How are you always this way? Like, how are you so strong? How are and I don't have how do you make your brand
let's tell people why you are like that. Can we
You can. Please tell them.
So the happiness is linked with Venus is in Aquarius. Aquarius is a stellar sign, is a future-oriented sign.
Okay.
So in terms of how you create joy for yourself and where is your happy place, your happy place is in the future. Your happy place is not in the past. So you're not going to dwell too much.
That is so true.
So you're going to
really like that.
You're going to always be drawn and attracted, and your spirit is going to go towards what's the next thing that is going to happen. How am I going to create something? And then Aquarius is a sign, is a fixed sign, is an air sign. So there's a lot of thinking going on linked with your joy and your ability to bring happiness to yourself.
Wow.
It's also a sign associated with friends and groups. So a lot of your happiness comes from the people you have around you.
I don't like them. I really don't.
Okay, so no, this applies to you just said it for me. Which sometimes an astrologer cannot and should not say things as they are.
Oh, I don't like them. It's a joke. I love them. I love my friends.
It's the sign of not fitting in. Aquarius is the sign of not fitting in.
Got you. True. Very true.
You either attract friends who do not fit in, or you are attracted to groups where you may not fit in, or they as a group, as a community, are outcasts. So maybe you said it as a joke, but there is a truth in what you said when I don't know your friends.
Yeah.
Because they may not actually fit in or be part of the they are not acknowledged. And that is Aquarius as an energy.
Sounds a little cold.
Aquarius is very cold.
Yeah, I like ice.
Yes, and you should be around ice whenever you like learning ice skating, going to New York for Christmas.
Never again.
I know this, you're an island girl, but you do love.
I like the snow sometimes.
Cold.
Yes, I do.
Whatever that means for you.
Whatever that means for me.
Whatever that means.
Okay. So, what did I just ask you? I just asked you to tell me about the why I'm so happy.
Yes,
right.
We were talking about the planet
so
of
why
joy.
am I so strong?
Mars in Taurus.
Okay.
Extremely determined. I would not. Resilient, tough, can take a lot, never loses.
I know that's right.
What else do we have? Moon in Virgo. Virgo is the sign of the Virgin. Translation, this means not a woman who hasn't had sex, but a woman who doesn't need a man. So Virgo as an archetype, as an energy, is whether it's embodied by a man or a woman, is the one that doesn't need anyone, but becomes irreplaceable for everyone else.
I don't like that. I need people. I need people.
In terms of the moon, we are talking about your deepest emotions and feelings. We're not talking about what you are attracted to.
Okay.
We're not talking about like.
Drag
We're
me.
talking about need. Venus is like.
Drag me.
Moon is what do I need? You have a very independent space within you who doesn't need
anyone.
That emotion. Like codependency would be very hard to do for someone with a moon in Virgo. You are of service to other people when you love them, when you are very connected to them. You may be of service to your friends, but on a very deep emotional level, you do not need them. And also, if we look into the fact that the moon is associated with the mother in someone's chart, this could also describe the way you have been raised and how your mother may have come across.
My mom is a Virgo.
As a very independent.
Yeah, and something she used to always tell me is, make sure you're better than me in every single, I remember that line so clearly. That's one thing she just always used to repeat. Make sure you're better than me. Please make sure you're better than me. So, yeah, that was that's something that definitely kind of keeps me going in a sense. I mean, it sounds harsh when you say it out loud to be, I'm better than my mother, but it's a reality because at the end of the day, I personally believe that our parents did the best that they could with what they knew how to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like every new generation, we're learning new things and we're becoming new people and we're, changing the game and changing everything. So if we can learn from our parents' mistakes and then implement them in newer ways and teach new things, I think that would be better too. Wow, this was a lot. But it was good. It was good. Oh my gosh, guys, Alina, thank you. Appreciate you. I really hope, listen, we're going to get in a birth chart read. Like dead ass serious. Go get your birth chart because honestly, when I started to really because I've always known, I'm a Pisces or whatever, but I've never felt like a Pisces. Honestly, I've never felt, and I feel like too, because I met so many weird Pisces, at one point I didn't want to be a Pisces. Because all the Pisceans I know, they're very, very emotional. Like, first of all, my daughter is 3 years old and she's such a Pisces. She is March. She's a March Pisces.
You know her moon?
Her moon is Virgo, just like me. But she's a March Pisces. I'm a February Pisces. And my son is a Leo. Fast Leo
How is that for you?
With a Cancer moon. Good. But they're opposites. My son is very calm, very loving. He's a lot like me. He's very loving. He loves to hug. He loves comfort. He likes to be comfortable. He likes to make you comfortable. While my daughter does not want you to touch her. She doesn't really like to hug. She will, but she's not a hugger. Like my son will come to you and he'll give you a big hug and squeeze you. My daughter will be like, and drop her arms down. She's not trying to hug you.
And they're small, a few years old.
Yeah, they're small. So my son is 4 and my daughter's 3.
At this moment in time, their moon is the most active.
Ah,
The moon is the most evident.
So I can tell you something really big. Sorry, just before I close out. I can tell you this story that was really big. So my brother and I, my big brother and I, we went through a phase where we were just not talking to each other. You know, I did something to really, really hurt his feelings and hurt our connection.
Mercury in Aquarius.
Yeah, so I really, hit him hard. And for years we didn't talk. And the thing that brought us back together was my son, because my son was born on my brother's birthday. And I was like, wow, okay, this has to be some cosmic thing that God is doing, because like literally my son was supposed to be born. His due date was August 7th. He was ready to be born on August 1st, but the RN that was supposed to deliver him wasn't in the country. And she was just like, you know what, you're fine. He's not overweight. You can stay another week. And he came on 8/8/2018. That was his birthday, and my brother is 8/8, I think 78 or 79, one of them. I can't remember his year.
You already gave me some information about, your mother being a Virgo. You have a moon in Virgo. Your daughter being a Pisces, moon in Virgo. So, and then your son and your brother. So there is another branch of astrology who looks into intergenerational information. Let's call it, and we can see this a lot if we study different generations.
Right.
You can see a sort of mirroring or an astrological pattern that is being
developed,
that is being reborn in other generations. So there is something that is moving from generation to generation. And if we ever spend some time together and we want to take a weekend to go very deep into.
I'm ready. Are you ready? Because I'm ready.
Anytime.
I'm ready.
If we have a beach and, if
I
like to be comfortable.
Girl, I am ready. I am going to make time, and I am going to call you. Now I'm dead serious. You know I'm serious, because I love this. I really want to, just get more into it and really understand it more. That's my thing.
There is a lot to learn about our children. From
as long as it's going to make me a better
the
parent.
Natal chart, yes, from the relationship we have with them, so the charts together, and then from the charts of our parents and so on. Like, there is so much to know and to learn, and that for me is much more significant than being all rosy about astrology and actually learning something.
I got the shade. It's a good thing we live in Jamaica where the sun shines so brightly, so we're going to need some shade, you know what I mean? But Alina, thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you. Guys,
Loved
that was
it.
a lot, right? That was a lot, but it was a lot. And I really hoped I did my part in having you guys understand it better, but it's not something that you can understand overnight, to be honest. I've been trying to understand it for years, honestly. But, just continue to do the work, pour into yourself. As always, you guys know my thing. Change your mind, change your life, and self-love is so important, and accountability, yo. But stick around, because we got Sweat Check up next. All right, y'all know what time it is. It is time for Sweat Check. Now, let me explain how Sweat Check works. It's really easy. It's a game. Alina, are you ready for Sweat Check?
Okay, I am.
All right. Sweat Check is pass or play. I'm gonna ask you 5 questions. 4 of those questions, you'll have 3 seconds to answer each question. The last question, you'll get a little more time. You can choose to pass, but if you choose to pass a question, you have to take a shot of white rum. If you choose to play, you answer the question and you get a point.
Okay. What's the prize?
The prize is just the fact that you are now a new woman growing from who you were 10 seconds ago.
Okay.
There we go. So
I better get drunk then.
No, I feel like you're gonna answer these questions, man. You got this. You got this. Alina Apostol, it is time for your Sweat Check. First question. What is your least favorite sign?
I don't have one. I can't name one.
Not accepting that answer. What is your least favorite sign?
I can't say. I could say who is my least favorite person, but not a sign. I'll drink then.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
Good.
All right. Okay. All right. You say you failed the first one. No points. Okay. Out of 10, how good are you in bed?
My Mars is in Sagittarius. I can say that I'm wild, open, adventurous.
So give me a number.
And I adapt very well. I don't know if that means that I'm good in bed.
Give me a number, 1 out of 10. Rate yourself right now.
8. There is room for improvement.
I don't know about you, but girl, your body good at me. I 10 out of 10. What sign made you come the most?
You're kidding me. I have to go. Aquarius.
No, that's right. Yeah, okay. Okay, Alina. Okay. What sign gave you the best head?
Oh, that's hard. Oh, God. Libra.
Okay. I'm not stumping you as much as I hoped I would. Okay, all right. Last question. You're gonna get 5 seconds to answer this question. Would you tell the love of your life about a reading if it was negative? If you had a negative reading on them?
Of course, I did that with all of them.
Wow.
All the loves of my life.
Do you have any of them with you now?
Right now? No.
I don't like that for you. All right. Yeah, Alina, that was really good. Honestly, I thought I would stump you more. But guys, this is what Would Denyque Do? And up next, we have Immediately No, where we tell you all the things that we are not standing for. All right, so we just talked about astrology. So of course, I had to go into the Immediately No's with what I think you should just say no to. Red flags. And always remember, these are my Immediately No's. If you catch on to them, then that's great. I love that for you. If you don't, I also love that for you. That means you're paving your own path in life, and that's amazing. Now, first thing, dating a Cancer, immediately no. Don't do it. Don't do it. I personally never dated a Cancer, but I have friends that have. Immediately no. Do not do it. That's it. I don't even want to go any further with that. I feel like everybody that's dated a Cancer can relate. All right, just aligning with just thinking that you're compatible with somebody or you're meant to be forever just because your signs align. Immediately no. First of all, you heard Alina say it. There is so much more to it. Your sun sign is just like a small part of who you are. There's your moon sign, there's your Mercury, your Venus, your descendant, ascendant, your Gatorade, all of them combine to make you work and make you who you are. So yeah, staying in a relationship just because somebody else says so, or just because you think that's what society wants you to do, immediately no. Don't do that. This is why it's so important to be accountable for self, to be aware of self, so you can make decisions from inside and not need outside validation. Okay, yeah, it's great to hear, yeah, you look great, you're amazing, you're an incredible person, but at the end of the day, it has to come from within. The more that it comes from within is the less you need it from without. Living by social media tarot readings, and these have become so predominant lately and so excessive, immediately no. Everything in life is a cycle, and everything in life is a confluence of events. It's never ever just one thing. So going on and scrolling and seeing Miss Cleo say, hey, you're gonna win $60 million tomorrow morning, and just staying home, not doing anything and believing that it's just gonna come to you. Yeah, that's not how that works. So living by social media readings, immediately no. There's more work to it. Do not stop doing what you're doing. Do not stop your life just because of something that you saw or something that you said or something that somebody else said. Keep it moving. There's more to everything in life. Forcing somebody to believe in astrology, immediately no. It goes back to self-awareness. It goes back to accountability. It goes back to who you are. Acceptance was my hardest destination on my journey because I always thought that I was right. And I knew that I didn't talk unless I was right. I didn't say anything unless I knew I was 100% right or even 95% right. But I've learned to understand that acceptance is golden because that takes the heaviness away from me, because everything was on me. If I didn't accept somebody for who they are or accepted something for who it is, it actually weighed more on me than it did on them. So yeah, immediately no.